What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. We are here for episode number 11 of Season 3 of F1 2018 Career Mode. I've kind of confused myself because when I name these video files in my editing software, I say Season 3 Part 11, but as you guys see it, it's like Part 51. So it's a little hard for me to actually keep track of my episodes until I go to YouTube and upload it and see what number I'm up to. So sorry about the discrepancy there. I'll see if I can fix that later. But welcome, guys, to the German Grand Prix. No upgrades heading into this one. We've got some really big upgrades happening in the background. They're unfortunately not going to surface in time for this race. However, we will see a couple of big upgrades going on the car in time for both Hungary and maybe even Spa. We've got a ultimate drag reduction upgrade going on the car. We did that at the end of the last episode, and we also did the ultimate ERS upgrade, which should hopefully be going on the car next episode. And then after that, we can target, finally, the engine upgrades. But without further ado, let's get into this round. This is the German Grand Prix. As I said, we have a bit of a wet start to the weekend. Raining, heavy rain in qualifying. I think it might fizzle out a little bit as this day wears on, but we just need to make sure that we get through qualifying 1, and we should be fine across the line. We go P7, which theoretically should be good enough to get us through to the next part of qualifying. Actually, it's intermediate conditions. I apologize. Maybe it started out wets, and now I put on the inters because the track is drying. But either way, you can see we're up by almost 8 tenths now as we go through to the third sector. So this should vault us up the order quite a lot here. Looking pretty good for a Q2 appearance. We'll come across the line, and this should vault us into the top 5, I would say. Here we go, up to the line. It is P6. We're going to go for another lap. We still have time. Session is about to run out of time now. So we're going to be the first across the line. But given by how much we're up by, that should be fine. We improved again by another 7 tenths. But as we go to the results screen, we're last, pretty much. 18th place in this German Grand Prix. Now, I know that the track was improving, and you know, we were like P6 or something, crossed the line, and I think we would have gone fastest as we crossed the line, but we got beaten by everyone, with the exception of 2 people. That's insane. That is some really ridiculous track evolution, if you ask me. Dare I say it, some possibly simulated times have really screwed us over there. Though it could have been legit. The whole field could have improved. Maybe. Apart from those 2 people who maybe stuffed up their laps. But who knows? That is the grid, unfortunately. For this German Grand Prix, we have a really good car. I feel like the pace naturally this weekend was a lot better than what it was in Silverstone. For whatever reason, the pace just wasn't there. I think I went the wrong way in terms of setup. This weekend, I'm feeling a lot more confident. But the track position just isn't there. So we're going to take some engine penalties because we're at the back anyway. We'll only lose 2 spots on the grid, and it should mean we're very flexible in terms of engines for the second half of this season. I think we would have been fine to finish on 3 engines, to be completely honest with you, but now we can just afford to go ham, just throw engines at this car whenever we get to a new circuit pretty much, and we should be fine. But here we go for the race now. It will be dry. We have set the car up for dry conditions. That's maybe why we're not so good in the wet, but I think we can move forward pretty well, and we should be on for some points, hopefully, for this German Grand Prix. Let's go.
Good afternoon and welcome to a place that is very special to us all in the Formula One community. It's the Hockenheim Ring, home of the German Grand Prix. Always good for a close scrap is Hockenheim. Think back to Alonso, Ricciardo, Vettel as recently as 2014, and I'm expecting some more strong racing today. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. Let's talk about Sauber. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Right then, it is race time now for the German Grand Prix. Before we get started, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you are. Hit that button, and you can keep up to date with all my videos. I want to do big things this year. Hopefully hit 500k before this year is out. We'll have to wait and see. But here we go, ready for the start of this race. 5 red lights for the German Grand Prix, and it is underway from the back of the grid. A bad start, but really when you're starting last, it doesn't matter. Into turn 1, we're going to take it nice and cautious. Just try and play on the mistakes of the AI and let them get tangled up with each other, and we'll pick our way through quite nicely up the inside. We'll force India and one of the Haas's into P17 briefly. Let's see if we can hold it around the outside here. Squeezed off. Really, I kind of just understeered off the circuit there, and it's side by side with Roman Grosjean. Overtake is engaged here. Rich fuel mixer getting slipstream off of Magnussen before diving to the inside now as we head into the hairpin for the first of 34 times in this German Grand Prix here at Hockenheim. It is P15. A nice start, it must be said. Very aggressive and punchy. I won't lie, but we did what we had to do to get the job done. And now this sets up a really good platform for us for the rest of the race. Gasly here looks a little bit slow. Rear end looking a little bit nervous. Not too sure if he's got a bit of damage. He was understeering as well as oversteering on exit, so that's all Rosso. Looks like it's not functioning on all 4 cylinders. 4 cylinders? 6 cylinders. I had to think about that for a second. 6 cylinders in these F1 cars. I dread to think what the 4-cylinder F1 engines are going to sound like in 5-10 years time. Although some 4-cylinder cars do sound better than V6s. So, who knows. Anyway, around the outside of Gasly into the hairpin. He has the inside. We're going to get a much better flow, much better rhythm, and we take that position off of him. Next up is my teammate Lance Stroll, who looks like he's finally found his form. In Silverstone, he was completely a match for us, and now it's going to be a true test to see if he can keep that momentum and, you know, keep scoring points in this season. He's kind of caught behind someone. I can't quite see who it is. My preview window is very, very narrow, but here he goes defensive into turn 2. This is not a good sign when you're going defensive at a corner where, you know, I can't really overtake anyway. He's just really harmed his exit, if anything, and is just allowing the car in front to get away. So, very interesting strategic choices for my teammate here. We're again going to go to the outside. I think it doesn't really matter what line you have into the hairpin. As long as you can be late under brakes and as well get a nice exit, you will get the position. It doesn't matter what side you choose, in all honesty. It was a Toro Rosso who was just that little bit up the road. I was getting a bit haywire through turn 1 there. Did you see that? That was pretty ridiculous. I can't afford to do that so many times, otherwise the rear tyres will be kaput by the end of this stint. Anyway, that's us up in a P13, I think now. Next up is Kimi Räikkönen. A few people have made stops, I believe, promoting us inside the top 10. Anyone who started on the ultra soft tyres, I won't lie, are going to really struggle to make a one-stop work today, so I think they're going to have to do the additional stop. And here goes Sebastian Räikkönen. Yep, I definitely got it wrong. That was Räikkönen going into the pit lane there. In before I actually got it right the first time, and it was Vettel. But anyway, we're getting some pretty good track position now that all the leaders are starting to stop. We get promoted to P3. Leclerc has already made his stop. That's worth noting. So he is out front by quite a way in this Grand Prix, and looking unlikely that we're going to take some points away from him today. Here goes Ericsson up the inside into turn 1, no less. Went in a little bit too deep there, and we were able to do the under and over on him quite nicely. But given that he just came out of the pit lane, he's got fresh tyres, much faster car still at this point in the career mode. There's no point fighting him. I just turned the engine down by the time he got us there, and we can save just a little bit of fuel and hopefully stay in this slipstream for like a lap, which wasn't the case. It was like 3 corners before he pulled out a second, and that was pretty much GG for our battle. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz, a car that is a lot closer. No, it's not. It's the Renault was the best car last episode. What am I talking about? They're close in terms of the championship points, but not car performance. Ben, come on, get on with it. Anyway, lap 15, we're coming into the pits. A bit overzealous there on the run into the pit lane, trying to make up a bit of time on some of those rivals around me. We are legitimately fighting maybe the Renaults, definitely the likes of the Mercedes and the Ferraris, who are all doing 2 stops. So we're truly in the game here to get some good points. We just need to make sure that we heat up these mediums, which have a really long heat up cycle, and we should be good to go in this second half of the stint. We're fighting with Stoffel Van Dorn, who's not really full position. He's on the soft compound tyres and needs to make another stop, but he's making life very nervous for us at this stage. on his, I don't know how old they are, tyres, but they're fully heated up and he has a bit more pace than us at this stage. But we managed to pull away once the tyres heated up, and now we can get on with our stint. You can see a few more people are now making their final stops. There's a yellow flag on the back straight there. You can see it's Lewis Hamilton. He's got a puncture and he's going to have to limp it back to the pit lane. This could set him out of the points in this race, depending on how slowly he gets back to the pit lane. That was somewhat close. I was looking for Lewis Hamilton on the minimap. I couldn't find him. I thought I already overtook him. Little did I know he was right in front of me and I almost drilled him, so that would have been pretty embarrassing in a Grand Prix where we can get some really good points today. P7 as it stands at the moment. Hamilton finally getting his way back to the pit lane, holding up Carlos Sainz and Hulkenberg on the way into the pits. Now these guys are closing in on Marcus Ericsson for P2 in this Grand Prix, so the Renaults are closing. But it must be said, Charles Leclerc is on an absolute mission today. He's going to win this Grand Prix. Unfortunately, we're going to lose more points in the championship. We need to be in a position where we can win this we need to be in a position where we can win races for Spa and Monza. That's where I'm hoping the real upgrades can come and can vault us towards the front of the grid. Otherwise, we can forget about any chances of challenging for this championship today. Virtual safety car is deployed. Now, it remains to be seen what that was caused for. I'm trying to have a look on the minimap to see if anyone's going slowly. It looks like it's a Ferrari at the final corner, though I don't know who it is. I don't remember who it was, in all honesty, despite doing this race, despite editing it, despite... Yeah, I have no idea. It never popped up on the screen, so I can't tell you who was out of the Grand Prix. But meanwhile, we have another yellow flag. That looks like it's one of the Saubers. It is Charles Leclerc. Lady Luck is not on his side. It has struck him again. He is out of this Grand Prix. Is he out of the Grand Prix? It's hard to tell. He slowed up. He's still going. He's circulating very slowly. He might have a puncture. He might have a puncture. Though I don't think he does. He's actually stopped on circuit. He is out of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Valtteri Bottas, who just stopped, is overtaking us now for P6 in this Grand Prix. So, wow. What a turn of events. Leclerc was leading by an absolute mile, and reliability is turning out to be his worst enemy in this Season 3 of Career Mode. There he goes. Yeah, that's us into P6. If we can get Bottas back somehow, that'll give us 10 points in this championship and be massive in the context of us trying to close down the gap to the race lead, to the championship leaders, shall I say. 3 laps to go now. We're still in the slipstream of Bottas, no less. I don't know, I just decided to chuck the engine up into Rich, use up all the battery in an effort to stay with him. The longer that I can stay with Bottas, the more I'm in the game of actually trying to overtake him. His soft compound tyres will wear out much faster than what mine will, so I'll actually phase back into this maybe in the last lap or two. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm still staying with him. That's the crucial thing. I'm going absolutely hell for leather trying to stay with him. Turn 1, there's just no form of holding back through there. Watch this. Just absolutely sideways on exit. I don't actually know how I saved that. That was pretty crazy. Here's the view from behind, and this is actually the most insane. Through here, we open the DRS when we're sideways still, and we hang on to it. Full throttle, no less, by the way. My goodness. My goodness, this race has really got quite interesting now as we head on to the last lap of this German Grand Prix. Again, full send through turn 1. I've been doing that all day somehow, just catching the back end with 9 ballast, 1.6 wings, I think it is. Very, very aggressive on the setup like I was in I was going to say Spa, like I was in France and like I was in Austria. But it looks like it won't be to any avail, unfortunately. Marcus Ericsson wins the Grand Prix in a day where his teammate was absolutely flying. He picks up the pieces for Sauber. Renault very, very close in the end. They came only a few seconds away from nabbing the victory. But for us, it's going to be P6. We fall just short of getting top 5. But otherwise, a really, really good day for some points.
Well done. Good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
So, here they come out now onto the podium after a thrilling Grand Prix. It just goes to show what a strong position the sport is in, that these independent teams can be so competitive. What a superb victory from the Sauber team.
Good job, Marcus. Very, very good job. I'm actually out of breath. That was That was a very intense Grand Prix from a driving standpoint, a championship standpoint as well. There was a lot on the line, and I was almost really willing to risk it all in those final few laps just to get those extra 2 points on Bottas. You never know what it might do for us the last race or two, getting those extra 2 points, but unfortunately just wasn't quite there for us. I'll certainly take the result. Lance Stroll came dangerously close to getting some points, but unfortunately no cigar for him today. We move up to 8th in the driver's standings. You can see from like 4th to 8th, it's so close. Vettel is not having a good time of things either, so it looks like he might be sliding in the championship standings. But otherwise, it has been a very, very good day. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. This championship, man, it's getting very, very tasty. We're getting faster. Sauber, I don't know, they did make some improvements heading into this one, but on the whole of things, like, you've got to say that their development does have to come to an end sooner rather than later. And yeah, the aim is to be right on their tail by the back end of this season. But guys, that's been this episode for today. We have a big bundle of resource points coming our way. We got that 75% boost in points, just absolutely coming in clutch every single race for us now. We can do a major upgrade to the rear downforce, and I'm not too sure if I want to do that, to be honest. Just having a look to see if there's other areas of the car we can upgrade. I wanted to go for the powertrain upgrade heading into the next episode. We're still waiting on the ultimate ERS upgrade, so we can't do that yet. So we may as well go for the rear downforce upgrade. We have nothing better to do, in all honesty. Chassis wise, there's nothing I want to target. We've done all the weight reduction upgrades. We can't upgrade the power of the car, and we also can't really do anything drag reduction wise. So we may as well make the car more stable at the rear end. You saw it was very, very sketchy over the course of this race. Sure, we can hold on to that at a track like this where there wasn't really many high-speed corners, but heading into Spa, where the upgrade is coming onto the car, I feel like that might be pretty handy and will allow us to run with less downforce on the car, if that makes sense, because the car's base downforce levels are already there, and you get that extra downforce without increasing drag. So hopefully that makes sense. It'll make us much more of a challenging threat for the second half of the season now, and I just can't wait to get stuck into the next few episodes to really close in the gap to Renault, to Sauber, start winning some races naturally, and really make a contest of this. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.